Well, good morning, Bears fans. Looking ahead to the game today versus the Philadelphia Eagles, thought I'd give you a little sneak preview of what you can expect from the coaching block. Looking ahead to the game, starting on defense, it's going to be an interesting game for the defense. They're playing a quarterback who, in the past, has proven to be mobile when he needs to be and accurate with the ball. I mean, you're talking about a quarterback who did win a Super Bowl, but at the same time, you're also talking about a quarterback with rib injury. Now, the thing about a rib injury when you're playing quarterback is it definitely messes with your mechanics and how you're going to play the game and your fundamentals. Bringing that arm, when that arm comes back, gets ready to throw, and you're ripping the other arm through, you really pull hard on that rib cage. That whole abdominal area, just above the abdominal muscles, through the beginning of the shoulder muscles, really torques very hard. It can be very, very uncomfortable for a quarterback who's had a rib injury, especially trying to come back across his body. Now, Foles being a right-handed quarterback, that's going to limit his ability to throw, particularly to his left, which means there's going to be some adaptation in the Philadelphia game plan. Look for a reliance on the running game, but you will see some passes to the left, obviously. But you're going to see them probably try to cut the field in half, keep everything to the right side of Nick Foles. You'll see floods, crosses, flats, screens, anything that'll keep the game out on the right side of the formation. What the Bears are probably going to do to counter that is play a lot of man defense, try to keep those receivers covered in the zone, which is going to they're going to kind of leave that one-on-one matchup back to his left and dare him to throw across his body and across those ribs. Of course, if he does it a couple times, you might see some shift on that, but given the nature of his injury, I kind of doubt that you will. Conversely, rib injury also precludes him from doing a lot of mobile running from the quarterback position. So if you can get a good push up the middle with Goldman and Hicks and really kind of collapse that pocket, make it small for him, force him to bail out, you're going to push him right into the arms of Khalil Mack and Leonard Floyd. So I think the key for the Bears is making sure that you are getting pressure directly up the middle in his face, whether that's through Goldman, blitzing Trevathan and Smith. Make him move, make him throw quickly across his body, because if you're man up and you've made sure that the receivers on the right side of the formation are covered and you're coming up the middle and he has to get rid of the ball, that ball's coming out to his left, it's going across his ribs, and that's really a recipe for disaster for the Eagles. They're probably going to keep the ball on the ground, try to play off of the play action where they can create a little bit of a delay in the Bears. The key is going to be bottling up that ground game, making sure that the Eagles just cannot get a yard on the ground, force them to throw where you can pin your pass rusher ears back and just get after the quarterback. If the Bears can be successful in that, they can dominate this game on defense, and they can really get after the Eagles and force them to try to make up for it by playing a dominant defensive game of their own. To that, the Eagles are looking with their starting offensive guard, Isaac Samalo, and offensive tackle Jason Peters out, are questionable this game. We know they're going to be at least hampered on the offensive line, which is going to be interesting because, guard tackle, they're going to have to adjust to either, making sure they're going to have to slide to make sure that Hicks is taken care of. You'll see a lot of Mac flipping across the other end of the formation probably today, so that you have to deal with, your healthy offensive linemen have to deal with one or the other, and then your backups are going to have to deal with whichever one the starters didn't draw. So it's going to be really interesting to watch the chess match today between Vic Fangio and his Eagles counterpart. Looking onto the other side of the ball on offense, DJ Alexander, linebacker, and Sidney Jones, cornerback, are out. Michael Bennett, the defensive end, and Avonte Maddox, the cornerback, are questionable, so they're going to be slowed. So the Eagles have a depleted defensive backfield, and their pass rusher, who they've kind of depended on, from the defensive end position, is also kind of hampered. Now they have interior. Their defensive line is incredibly stout. And kind of similar to how Minnesota was last week, the Bears are going to have to make some holes. They're going to have to give the Aaron Donald treatment to the interior line of the Philadelphia Eagles. They're going to have to make sure that they're sealing that off. But again, to that end, the Eagles play a 4-3 defense, so getting to the edge of that defense it was already the goal, was already the key. And with Michael Bennett being limited in what he's able to do, it gives you an opportunity to really kind of turn him, and if you can get him turned and get the running backs to the outside, you can make some good ground up. I'd expect to see. Whichever side he's on, whichever side they choose to line him up on, some jet sweeps, possibly that way, pitch outside to Cohen that way, force the defensive end to play contain. He's hurt, he's feeling it, so get the ball outside his direction, make him make a play, it's going to be questionable with the injury, especially a foot injury, if he can do that. All in all, this is a game, it's playoffs especially, and this is a dangerous Eagles team. You do not want to say this is a game we should just walk away with. But the reality is that of all the opponents the Bears could have drawn in the first matchup, this is probably the one you wanted for health reasons and a lot of other reasons. The key thing is going to be getting after the quarterback and making sure that we protect the ball, keep the ball on the ground, grind out the clock, really just force Philadelphia into a battle of attrition. And if we can do that, there's absolutely every reason why the Bears can walk away with this heading into the divisional round, presumably against the Los Angeles Rams. Again, you never want to say never, but that's the most likely scenario moving forward. So anyway, Bears fans, enjoy the game, and we'll see you on the board afterwards.